days, he cannot give me any service because he's gone into higher orbit. And I must say a word also about Professor Kolade working with, because you see, the MC has told you, and he and I are in the same set in Government College in Bangkok. Now, correction. Correction. He joined my set. At Government College in Bangkok. And since I know he doesn't have a right of reply today, this is one of those occasions when I can say to him, welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and especially the students of Obafemi Awolowo University. You know, there is one thing I say about the learning endeavor, because universities are set up so that people can learn something. I've said in my years of connection with the educational system that yes, it is necessary for us to have teachers, and teachers of different grades, lecturers, readers, professors, but the principal stakeholders of the learning endeavor are the students. And because they are the ones who are the principal stakeholders, they're the ones that deserve from us, not just utmost respect, but also utmost consideration. So welcome to this lecture, which is titled Possessors and Against. I'm truly glad and grateful to have been chosen for the role of speaker at this lecture, which is one of the events marking the 50th anniversary of Obafemi Awolowo University. This is an honor for which I feel I'm deserving, for which I cherish here, since the combined wisdom of the Vice Chancellor and his team have brought me here. But in a way, I feel somewhat entitled to this role. Since I've had many friends of the faculty of this university over the years, and good members of OAU alumni have been my colleagues in one workplace or the other. For good measure, my sister is with me today. She is also a graduate of this university. I have a nephew who trained here as a medical doctor. And I have a niece who received a pharmacy degree here. So I confess that I am not an alumnus of this university, but that is not my fault. I left university before 1962. I can say the loss is yours for now. But let me add my voice to the many that have offered warm congratulations to Obafemi Awolowo University for 50 years of respectable service to the nation of Nigeria. 50 consecutive years of respectability is not a mean achievement, especially in this environment. The fact that the university is now standing with confidence at the portal of the next 50 is sufficient proof that the first 50 years have not gone to waste. It also reminds us that the OAU has managed challenges and opportunities of the past and present with skill and success. So may this continue to be the case for an even longer future. Congratulations on your golden jubilee. So permit me to begin by offering explanation for the title of this chapter, Possessors and the Gates. It is my view that the whole of the life of a human being can be seen as a string of opportunities. Opportunities for doing those things that help to fulfill one's life work. If you are distributing the lecture now, may I ask you to stop? I would quite like you to listen to what I have to say, then catch up with the words in writing later on. Because we live in communities, our handling of opportunities is influenced many times by other people, depending on the role that certain people have in the relationship. They may be responsible for facilitating our access to the particular opportunity, or they may have the ability to deny us access. So, all of us seem to stand at different gates of opportunity. We are there either because we need to pass through the gate in order to reach an opportunity, or because we ourselves are responsible for manning the gate so as to provide access for other people. Let me give just two illustrations. Organizations that establish or manage educational institutions may be seen as gatekeepers of the opportunity for other people to gain the benefits of education. And those who come seeking education are seen as stakeholders of this situation, doing their best to pass through the gates and take advantage of what lies beyond. Similarly, we may see those who serve in government or indeed in any other area of human endeavor as gatekeepers, possessing as they do the responsibility to provide the opportunity for citizens to express their individual and collective productivity. Therefore, to summarize the thesis of my paper, it is possible that we all stand at different gates every day of our lives, either because we have or possess the responsibility for creating access for other people, or because we ourselves need to use the gate to get to where we want to go. Even those who are only seeking access must also have or possess the ability for using the opportunity to the best advantage, so that the real objective for coming to the gate at all may be realized. However, the mere possession of the power to manage access to opportunity is empty and of no consequence unless and until we conduct our affairs in a manner that can lead to the realization of our objective. So as we celebrate 50 years of our university, this is a good time to look at some issues in depth and make an analytical assessment of the degree to which we have been mere possessors rather than true managers and active stakeholders of the gates of opportunity in Nigeria the last 50 years. 25 years ago, when OAU came to its silver jubilee, two scholars of the university edited a volume that narrated the history of the institution. For what may be regarded as a good reason, Olufemi Omosini and Biodun Adediran titled the volume Great Event, a history of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, 1962 to 1987. They used this title in spite of the many challenges and problems of the university that they themselves freely acknowledged. For them, the real achievements of the university in its first 25 years definitely surpassed the issues that might have been seen as constraints or difficulties. The Vice Chancellor at the time, Professor Wande Abimbola, added his own testimony in the foreword to the work, in which he described the OAU as, I quote, one of Africa's greatest universities. Clearly, the determination to set up and run a great university has been embedded in the philosophy of the founders of this university from the very start. This week we are marking 50 years of OAU. No doubt there will be copious references to the many great alumni of this university and many dimensions of real value that they've added to the Nigerian society. We may even spare some time and space to refer also to the thousands of alumni who add eminent value to other societies beyond the shores of Nigeria. An internet visit to the OAU portals also reveals the many ways in which this university continues to impact the development of learning and research in collaboration with many foreign institutions. No one can miss or ignore the real respect that OAU and its alumni enjoy among highly reputable communities of scholars around the world. On this occasion, therefore, we must congratulate University, not only for being still here at 50, but more importantly, for sustaining a credible effort to live up to its preferred appellation, Great Ife. Now, as we all know very well, it is one thing to start out as a great institution. It's quite another thing to be made great, considering the changes and chances that the environment may throw up at different points in time. Indeed, I hold the view that many of the institutions that were the pride of Nigeria 50 years ago are no longer holding their own. Many have succumbed to the pressures of irresistible forces over the years. An earlier Vice Chancellor of OAU, Professor H.A. Oluwasomi, speaking in 1972, 10 years into the life of this university, felt compelled to sound a note of warning about the creeping tendency of the military government of the time to encroach upon the freedom that universities needed to pursue their objectives. He reminded the audience at that year's convocation that universities needed freedom if they were to succeed in their responsibility of holding open the gates of educational opportunity to their students. Hear what he said on the subject. I quote, "A university requires a considerable measure of freedom to discharge its responsibilities. Any laws or organizational structure which curtails the freedom to teach and pursue research undermines, by the same token, the collective ability of the university to make any significant contribution to the solution of the social and economic problems facing society." He goes on, "It is not by the mechanical process of relating curricula to the transient needs of a society that a university makes the greatest impact. It is by the careful and diligent nurturing of the fundamental freedoms of the universities to teach and to do research that the huge investment in higher education can be fully rewarded." End of quotation. Professor Oluwasomi's words remind us of two fundamental concepts that have been with the university's institution from the very beginning. The concept of university itself, we're told, was derived from the emergence of a community of teachers and scholars, in Latin, Universitas Magistrorum Kolade, which took upon itself the concerted effort of promoting the development of knowledge and learning in a community that was dedicated to that purpose. The second concept, that of academic freedom, also dates back to the 12th century, when the articulation of the Constitutio Capita of the University of Bologna, which was meant to guarantee the right of a traveling scholar to unhindered passage in the interest of education. Oluwaseyi's intervention was in reality a reiteration of concepts that go to the very heart of the recognition of a community of teachers and scholars who must manage the gates to higher educational opportunity with unfettered freedom. The history of tertiary education in Nigeria suggests that the freedom of the university community was a reality at the start. Even though universities were created initially by government decision, it was recognized that such institutions must have considerable autonomy. For example, in deciding what courses to teach, what research to pursue, and how quality of achievement should be recognized and acknowledged in the university system. In other words, the university community must be a possessor of academic freedom. If Oluwaseyi was concerned enough to speak in 1972, it suggests that as with any freedom, the possessor must also occasionally stand up and become a defender of his freedom. We may yet have time to consider how well the possessors of academic freedom in this country have stood up to defend their possession. We must remind ourselves that university autonomy is not an end in itself. Rather, it provides the platform for which decisions that lead to success should be taken. As we observed a moment ago, the university should be able to decide what courses to teach, what research to pursue, and how the advancement of members of faculty should be determined. In other words, this university, any university, has the responsibility not only to seek to satisfy humanity's thirst for knowledge, but also to justify the belief that scholarly expertise has the capacity to enable society to address difficult social and economic problems and to achieve the desired outcome of people's collective effort. When we review all the other provisions that society can call upon to work for achieving these objectives, the preeminent ways must be awarded to institutions of higher education. The reason for promoting freedom for the holders of positions in this university is that their responsibility is actually an obligation. They must use the resources that they receive to grow the top-level human capacity that this nation needs. Such a huge responsibility must be accompanied with commensurate authority to make competent decisions. Otherwise, the arrangement is doomed to failure. One of the university's tasks, according to Henry Newman, is to, I quote, set forth the right standard and to train according to it, and to help forward all students towards it according to their various capacities. And that training of the intellect, which is best for the individual himself, also best enables him to discharge his duties to society. That training of the intellect, which is best for the individual himself, also best enables him to discharge his duties to society. The need to join other members of society in a positively collaborative endeavor highlights the fact that the product of the learning process should be able to apply what he has learned, both for his own benefit and for the progress of the society which he lives. So the educational process enables the beneficiary to apply character as well as knowledge. Knowledge without character is seen as an incomplete outcome of the learning experience. Let us take some time to consider the assertion by Henry Newman that the training of the intellect, which happens at university, is also the best preparation for the graduate to discharge his duties to society. In particular, if we examine that statement in relation to the Nigerian society of the 21st century, are we able to say with confidence our universities provide their graduates with the wherewithal to discharge their duties so that they can improve the condition of society into which they emerge after university? Indeed, what is the condition of our society? What is the condition of the society for the improvement of which these graduates are taking responsibility? In Nigeria, we possess a land that has been created by Almighty God, and into which He has poured endowments of such superior quality that its human occupants should have no difficulty accessing the basic requirements for living a reasonably good life. The resources of this nation, to which human beings have added very insignificant value, those resources are more than enough to take good care of our true needs. The human resource itself is of such good quality that our people are capable of earning true respect, whether at home or abroad. We have indigenous cultures, traditions, and give pride of place to good behavior and positive neighborliness. All available evidence suggests that Nigerians can be highly intelligent, enterprising, creative, and productive. And there is more. Nigerians respect noble family values, and they take family responsibility seriously. The extended family practice teaches us to have a keen sense of communal responsibility. Our brothers and sisters in West Africa will testify to the fact that we have an adventurous spirit, especially if the adventure leads us to commercial profit. We have a preference for self-reliance as a way of living a respectable life. And we have been taught that people should earn the respect of others by how well they perform rather than by what wealth they display. In our indigenous communities, we do not normally give leadership responsibility to someone who cannot show that he has handled some smaller assignment with success. Above all, we respect one another's space and property. We look with contempt at anyone who has been proved guilty of appropriating someone else's goods without that person's consent. Through the Isusu or the Isusu culture, our people learn never to betray communal trust. And we have such respect and awe for Almighty God that we would not trivialize our relationship with Him by dishonoring an oath which we have sworn in His name. Through all these attributes and traits, we can justify a claim to be possessors of respectable values and beneficiaries of a noble heritage. Many of us can still remember the way we used to be. Our pre-independence leaders were people who made enormous sacrifices as they struggled to win our right to collective self-expression. The public office holders of our First Republic were shining practitioners of conscientious service delivery. Our sportsmen and women wore our national colors with pride as they competed successfully in international arenas. Our compatriots were unapologetic in claiming their identity as Nigerians. They were thrilled to be possessors of a name that commanded respect and attention. Nigerians were not only proud possessors of the name, they were also conscientious practitioners of the values that their possession demanded of them. Ladies and gentlemen, how do I know all this? I know it because I experienced it. And I remember it. I've just been describing to you the society into which I came, gladly and gratefully, when I left university. It was also the society into which the University of Ife was born. Now, our emerging young graduates are coming into the new Nigeria. The name, you notice, has not changed. We're still possessors of the name that has been bequeathed to us. And alas, the values, the attributes have crumbled in our hands. Things have gone so bad that the athletes who used to win medals wearing our national colors now run and jump for countries in Europe. We stand on the sidelines, wincing with pain and envy, as sportsmen and women from Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa run laps of honor, celebrating their victory draped in their own national flags. Two questions must now engage our serious attention. How did we get here? And where do we go from here? Perhaps I can suggest an answer to the first question. I believe we came to our condition today because we forgot the supreme power and the supreme wisdom of Almighty God. Oh no, I'm not about to take you on a journey into religion, but we ought to help ourselves by studying God's pattern of provision and His wisdom in giving man pointers as to how to live this life. Have you noticed that in God's arrangement, the human being has been made in such a way that he can be truly comfortable and successful only when he is catering to his real needs? As soon as man begins to look for ways of feeding his greed, he enters into a territory of discomfort. Whenever man tries to eat more than his system requires, whenever man puts on more clothes than are appropriate for the prevailing weather conditions, if he tries to ride 2 horses or drive 2 vehicles at the same time, his situation becomes unsustainable. At the same token, trying to acquire more material wealth than one needs merely adds to one's troubles. With current trends and lifestyles in Nigeria today, those who buy personal aeroplanes when all they need is a car find that the maintenance of that superfluous machine brings its own headaches. And it is the kind of headache that does not submit readily to 2 capsules of pain-killer medication. President Obasanjo once declared corruption was Nigeria's #1 enemy. Contrary to the thinking in some places, it is greed, not poverty, which leads to corruption. Corruption, in turn, then produces poverty that proves intractable if we try to address that poverty through the distortions caused by corruption itself. Corruption causes its apostles to place self-interest above the interest of the whole community and to become totally confused about the priorities that they should be pursuing in their positions of responsibility or influence. This is why the society that we described earlier has turned into a place where many people show disdain for truth and justice, a place where office holders regularly abuse the authority and privilege of their office. A society in which partisan politics is so totally consuming that we have forgotten that politics is in essence only a means of achieving good governance. A society in which the young graduate quickly discovers that selection and advancement are driven not by performance, but by patronage. A land of multiple opportunities for doing well, but where access to opportunity is denied by some who man the gates. These people are so completely ignorant of their true role as gatekeepers that they take possession of the gate, creating tolls that must be paid by stakeholders, and asking terms that force intending beneficiaries to believe that they must trade away everything, especially their integrity, before they can obtain rightful access. One of the ways in which we often give ourselves